Hi guys, thanks for stopping by my channel. I'm Kelsey. Again, this is Essentially Booked, and I'm so glad you're here today. So today I'm going to talk about Bridgerton and things you could read if you love Bridgerton. I love the Bridgerton series by Julia Quinn, and I discovered it during law school actually. It was the best escapist read that I discovered during law school. It was just something that was light and easy for me to get lost in. She just writes well fleshed out characters, and I just really adored the whole Bridgerton series. I'm actually kind of going through a reread slowly of the series, but it's just, there's like something about like the fact that romance novels are a guaranteed happy ever after. The characters in that story are funny, you root for them, they're not annoying, romance is really good, just everything about it. Like, I just love Bridgerton so much. And then the Netflix adaptations are wonderful. So if you want to continue reading Bridgerton, or you want something like it because there's only 8 books, I'm going to give you a whole bunch of suggestions. I'm a huge historical romance reader, excited to share other historical romances that I have loved a lot. Some of them I love more than Bridgerton, so that says something. So we will get started. Okay, so I have talked about Sarah McLean time and time again. She is my absolute favorite romance author, and I actually stumbled upon her in law school when I was searching for things to read after Bridgerton. And she has, I think, 4 series out. There's one that's like in the midst of being written, but I'm actually going to focus on 2 of her older series. They take place more within the court and like within the Regency era. Her females are all strong and independent. Settings in her books are so different. It's not just meeting a guy at a ball and the love that it ensues. There's a different world that it introduces you to. So the Love by Numbers series was just re-released with new covers. So I always get it messed up. 9 Rules to Break When Romancing a Rake is a great one to start with. It is about Calpurnia Hartwell. I love the names in Regency world. She's like a do-gooder. She follows all the rules. She just wants to break the rules. Like, she wants to live on the edge, just wants to say she does. So she, as romance novels do, something ridiculous ensues and she gets pulled into the Marquis of Ralston's world. And he owns a gambling hell. And so this series specifically takes place within like a gambling world. I flew through these. There's 3 books in the series. It's like 9, 10, and 11. 9 Rules to Rake When Romancing a Rake. 10 Rules to Something When Something a Lord. 10 Ways to Be Adored When Landing a Lord. And then 11 Scandals to Start to Win a Duke's Heart. If you're looking kind of for like that classic Bridgerton feel, this will be the one that I would suggest starting with. Her other series that I really like is the Scandals and Scoundrels series, and I talked about the Scandals and Scoundrels Day of the Duchess in my like favorite books of all time. This is the 3rd book in the series. This whole series kind of follows the Soiled S's. They're sisters. One of the girls gets a story in like her newest series. I really like this one because it deals with divorce, and there's really sensitive handling of miscarriage, and it's just such a beautiful book. So if you're looking for 2 series recommendations to kind of sink your teeth into and get lost into, I would recommend the Scandals and Scoundrels series and then the Love by Numbers series by Sarah McLean. And then the next author, she's very prolific, so if you find that you like her, you have so many books to read, is Lisa Claypass. And my favorite series by her, Wallflower series, and this is a series about 4 girls who are best friends and are kind of just not what society desires. They're wallflowers. The friendship that goes throughout the novels is really fun, but then also the romances are really great. My favorite is Devil in Winter. So this is Evangeline Jenner's book with Sebastian Lord St. Vincent, and he's a villain in a previous book in the series, and just his redeeming story, perfection, just perfection. No words. Like, I love this book so much. Bonus rec for this is, or again, The Magic. It's just a standalone book. It's a prequel, and this just has like the best kind of enemies to lovers story that there is. This just is like the perfect romance novel. The grovel, the like your past coming back to haunt you sort of, like, it is just the perfect romance novel, and I love it so much. One other series by Lisa Claypass that I think is worth an honorable mention is the Ravenels series. It's, I think, her most current series. Like, she's still writing books in it. It's just about the Ravenel family and different people throughout that family. The most perfect book, in my opinion, is Marrying Winterbourne, although I really liked Chasing Cassandra as well. And this is the second book in the series, and it follows Helen and then Reese Winterbourne, who's like, essentially he owns like a Sears and Roebuck's at the time, but he's like groundbreaking and having a department store. He's just so perfect. If you listen to podcasts, the Fated Mates podcast just did an episode on this, and it's really great to listen to after you've read it. So this would be like an honorable mention that I would like to suggest. Tessa Dare is so funny. She is just a gem, and I really like her Girl Meets Duke series. So these are like kind of nerdy girls for like Regency era, and they're just quirky, and like one is really into science and blowing things up. This girl really likes like rescuing animals. She uses the Duke's home kind of keep her animals, and it's hysterical. So, but there's also like a humor component and just funny, quirky characters that make Tessa Dare's books a lot of fun. She has a series that's called like Vindel Cove series, and I haven't read any, but they're on my list. And those are about women who go to like a resort town, I think. And they go there, and I don't know if they're wallflowers or what, but they get sent there because I think they're not living up to their family's expectations. Romance ensues. So I think there's 5 or 6 in that series. And that's one that I would like to read in the upcoming year. So again, Tessa Dare, again, she also has a prolific backlist, so you would be able to find a lot to read if you liked her. I've read some of her Castles Ever After series, and they're good too. They're just not as funny to me as the Girl Meets Duke series. And then I have a couple authors. I don't have any books. So Joanna Shoup writes in Gilded Age America in New York City. Her Uptown Girls series is so much fun. And then I think, the series that she's most recently writing is the Fifth Avenue Rebels, I believe. And they're just all so good and very steamy, but she's a great author if you want to cross the pond and go to America. And I feel like she's one of the few like Gilded Age romance authors out there, and she's really good. So Joanna Shoup, The Lady Gets Lucky, or the Uptown Girls series would be a good place to start. And then an author that I have not explored enough of and I need to read is Beverly Jenkins. I have read Wild Rain, and that takes place in Colorado. A Black woman who is a rancher, and then she falls in love with a newspaper writer that are coming out to write about African Americans who are making their own way in the West, and it's really beautifully done. She has one called Indigo that everyone says you need to read. I have not read it. It's on my list, so that would be one I would recommend as well. The other author that I have started to read a little bit of and have really enjoyed is Elizabeth Hoyt, and she has a Maiden Lane series. So it's these women who are maidens, and they kind of run like a foundling home for underprivileged kids and orphans, and it takes place kind of in the slums of London, but I can't remember what it's called. Each book is like a family member, and they all have like names like Silence, Patience, Wisdom, like just those types of names, if it tells you anything about like the type of family they are. The best book in the series though that I have read is Scandalous Desires, and that's book 3, and I call it the pirate book. It's not really a pirate book, but it like kind of is a pirate book. So it follows Silence and Mickey. Silence like raises Mickey's daughter, but he is a scoundrel and terrible, and just their paths collide, and it's so wonderful. So that would probably be up there on favorite historical romance novels of all time. Scandalous Desires by Elizabeth Hoyt. But that is all of the historical romance books that I like. So if you've liked Bridgerton, I would suggest you start with these and keep reading. There's plenty to sink your teeth into. If there's one that I didn't mention or an author that I haven't mentioned that you love, please drop them in the comments, because I am all for historical romance recommendations, especially if they give you Bridgerton vibes. So thank you. And as always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Help me grow my channel, and please connect with me in the comments. Thanks, guys.